I never imagined I would be the kind of woman to entertain the thought of another man, and yet, here I was, holding a glass of wine that trembled slightly in my grasp. Across the candlelit table, my husband, Daniel, smiled at me. "You're nervous," he observed, tilting his head slightly. "We don't have to do this." The sincerity in his voice only made my stomach tighten. For 5 years, we had built our marriage on trust, honesty, and passion. This was meant to be an exploration, something thrilling, something new. But I never expected it to feel so dangerous. The first time I met Leo, I told myself he was just a stranger, just another person stepping into our carefully structured world. But the moment our eyes met, something inside me shifted. He carried himself with an easy confidence, the kind that made me hyper-aware of my own breath, my own heartbeat. "Nice to finally meet you," he said, his voice a low, warm hum. "Daniel's told me so much about you." I glanced at my husband, searching for reassurance. He met my gaze with that steady, knowing smile. He was excited, for me, for us. But as the night unfolded, I began to realize that excitement wasn't the only thing unraveling between us. It started small, a touch that lingered a second too long, a conversation that felt too natural, a laugh that wasn't just amusement. It was connection. The first time Leo kissed me, the air left my lungs. It wasn't what I had imagined. It was softer, more real. And in that moment, I understood the danger of what we were doing. The rules had been clear, physical, not emotional. Experience, not attachment. But emotions don't follow rules. Guilt came in waves. I told myself I was still in control, that I could step back whenever I wanted. But then came the moments when I didn't want to, the stolen glances, the way my body leaned toward him before my mind could catch up. And then Daniel started to notice. At first, it was subtle, questions asked a little too casually. "How was your time with Leo? Did he make you laugh? Do you think about him when you're with me?" Then, the distance grew. The easy smiles between us faded. The bed we once curled into every night started to feel too big. "Is it different now?" he finally asked one night. I opened my mouth to reassure him, but the truth clung to my throat. Yes. Because I had let something in that I couldn't take back. Because I had opened a door neither of us knew how to close. Love isn't supposed to have space for three. And yet, here we were, standing on the edge of what we once were, wondering if we had already fallen off. Daniel didn't confront me, not in the way I expected. Instead, he withdrew, retreating into himself in a way I had never seen before. The warmth in his voice faded into something cooler, quieter. He still touched me, but it felt rehearsed, more habit than longing. And the worst part? Thoughts. Daniel's voice was steady, but his hands gripped the sheets like they were the only thing keeping him grounded. "Do you love him?" "No," I whispered. But the hesitation was there. "I love you." "Then why do you look at him like that?" His question wasn't cruel. It wasn't even accusatory. It was just sad that I turned to him, reaching out to touch his face, but he pulled back. It was subtle, barely noticeable, but enough to shatter me. "I think we broke something," he murmured. Maybe he was right. Maybe, in our search for more, we had unraveled everything that once made us whole. The next time I saw Leo, I knew. I knew it had to end, not just for Daniel, but for myself. For the woman I used to be before the lines blurred, before the weight of my choices became unbearable. "This isn't fair to anyone," I said, my voice unsteady. "It has to stop." Leo exhaled slowly, his expression unreadable. "I knew this would happen," he admitted. "Then why did you let it?" A faint, bittersweet smile tugged at his lips. "Because I wanted to believe I could be enough." But he wasn't. And neither was I. As I walked away, my heart ached, not just for Leo, but for the damage I had caused. To Daniel. To us. I didn't know if we could fix what was broken, but I knew one thing. I had to try. The days that followed were filled with silence, not the kind laced with anger, but the heavy stillness between two people who no longer knew what to say. Daniel still kissed me goodbye in the mornings. He still asked if I wanted coffee. But it felt like we were going through the motions, playing the roles of a couple who had once been in love. Then, one evening, as we sat across from each other at the dinner table, he finally spoke. "Do you still want this?"
Us.
Tears burned in my eyes. More than anything, he nodded slowly. "Then we have to start over. Not try to fix what's broken, but build something new." And that was the hardest part, accepting that the love we had wouldn't return the way it was before. But maybe, just maybe, we could create something even stronger. I reached for his hand. This time, he didn't pull away. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. But for the first time in weeks, I felt hope. And maybe that was enough to begin again.